Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. I don't know how I get so lucky to interview the people I do, and this is one of them. We last spoke about Fit Armadillo, which is an online exercise program, I guess you would say, over a year ago. And so I'm excited to welcome back Catherine, and we're going to talk about a book that she wrote, which yours truly, me, is in, explaining my journey and my journey with fitness. And we're going to talk about disability and fitness. So without further ado, I'm going to let Catherine take it away.
Well, thank you, Lynn. You're saying that you're lucky to have myself and your other guests, but we're lucky to get to spend some time with you. So I really appreciate you having me on the podcast again. I got to be on twice. I feel pretty special.
Yes. But I want to talk to you about the amazing book you did, which I have a copy of, which I haven't opened up yet. But I want to talk to you about why you did that amazing book and why you chose me, of all people, to be in that amazing book. And now you're laughing at me because I call myself amazing. But as my fan base knows, if you don't stay on top of hemiplegia cerebral palsy will get on top of you within 2 days.
Sure.
It turns into a mess. So getting back to the book of all the women you gathered together talking about their fitness journeys, why? Why did you do that?
Yeah, so I guess maybe it all started about 4 years ago or so when I was going from working for other people to starting my own business, and I wanted to know, as I became an entrepreneur, what were some of the secrets of successful entrepreneurs. And so I started listening to, just different interviews, watching telesummits, all that good stuff. And I kept seeing this pattern that I was really surprised by, but the entrepreneurs kept talking about, I probably shouldn't have been surprised by the pattern looking back, but they kept talking about their daily routines, which was not something I really thought would maybe make a big deal, in running your business per se. And then they also were constantly mentioning, even though these weren't people that were in fitness as their full-time career, that their fitness routine was really important to their success. So I was finding that pattern. I would save interviews. I would try to share that on the Fit Armadillo Facebook page and on social media just to get people excited. And then I actually did a video blog series on my website on fitarmadillo.com where I interviewed a few women. And I kept getting more and more cool women that I was interviewing. So I decided to step up my game a little bit, get even more amazing women. And I was supposed to get the blog series as a written series published on a popular blog. And so I collected all these interviews. That was supposed to happen about 2 years ago. And the editor, even though I had his phone number and his email, so I was calling him and emailing him at least once a month, that I did that for about a year. And after a year of doing that, and he never published the first interview on the popular blog, that could reach more people and inspire more people, I decided, I'm not sure if I want to wait around anymore and have these interviews were great. They were inspiring me to keep rereading the stories myself personally, but I wanted them to inspire more women. That was the point originally, especially entrepreneurs. I think, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we put our health last. So, but these women, even though they're super busy, like yourself included, when, you put that first, you make the time for it. And so I wanted women that were just getting started out like I had, be able to see how and why women fit in fitness, why that's important if they want to have some entrepreneurial endeavor, make a difference in the world, and then some of their secrets to fitting that in to make it more approachable than just coming from a certified personal trainer. I could give my advice all day, but I might not be as relatable as some of the women in the book, like yourself, Lynn. So that's kind of how it happened. It was just seeing that pattern as an entrepreneur, trying to figure out what would help me be successful, seeing that it was a nice, happy coincidence that fitness was a key factor in people's success when they were setting up their daily routine and looking for ways to have more focus, energy, creativity in their business, and then collecting all that great stuff, but not being able to share it in the world the way I wanted, and getting brave and asking all the women I interviewed if they would be open to being part of my book, which I was definitely scared to ask because, I felt like that was little old me publishing this book, but I'm really glad that I did and built some great relationships with you, Lynn, and then other women in the book, and now that I've been able to start doing the book tour, really see the benefits of having the book, and just the women that I'm able to inspire has been really exciting. So that's kind of the background on the book.
Yes, and the background on the book is I'm presuming that this book could be found on Amazon.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. So we have on Amazon. I set it up so that you can get it in a bookstore. Of course, I'm sure you know, when being an author yourself, they mark it up a lot if you want to buy it in the bookstore. So
yeah.
I do sell copies through my website.
Oh yes, I do. It's much easier to go to Amazon, people. It's much easier to go to Amazon. Do not buy a self-published book in a bookstore. Do not. That's my PSA. Do not buy a self-published book in a bookstore. Catherine and I would kill you because we need this book. Not the bookstore. Not the bookstore. I believe, they only give a percentage of the royalties to the author if you buy it in a bookstore. Whereas Amazon doesn't. Amazon actually, I believe, gives all the royalties to the author.
Yeah, it depends. So I have, for mine right now, I just have the hard copy out. So if you buy it in the bookstore, I make like barely $1. If you buy it on Amazon, it probably technically would still be the same because I still have the hard copy. So when I do the paperback, it'll be a little bit different. But I was really excited to do the hardback. I thought it looked really nice, so I had to get that out there first. So you can buy it on Amazon though, and it's the other distributors, but so they'll discount it. And then I also do have copies on my website where I can sign the book for people, and I give a good discount. Or I just moved out to California from Houston, but I was back in Houston and gave some of my friends who have stores. I have some friends actually at a sandwich shop, a healthy sandwich shop down in Rosenberg, Texas. My friend who owns the Copious Deli has some books there because he actually has a lot of events for entrepreneurs after hours. So I left some copies there where you can get a better deal. And then I'm trying to encourage people, because I gave the discount, if they can go buy a sandwich. And then I have my friend owns a little boutique called the Thinking Girls Boutique, and so I gave a discount for people that want to buy the book there. And then her and I are splitting the profits, but then try to encourage people to buy something at the boutique as well. So
yeah.
it was definitely that's been fun, being able to offer that option as well. Support some local businesses versus necessarily a big bookstore.
And for those of you who want to find out more about Fit Armadillo, I guess Cass can explain what Fit Armadillo is, but we would recommend you go back to listen to interview number 1 with Catherine. And so, so we talked in detail about Fit Armadillo. But before we get into the disabilities and exercise, and yes, you guys can find out more about my exercise journey in Catherine's book, but please explain to us why you started Fit Armadillo and what that concept is, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, so Fit Armadillo, it started, more as myself. Oh, I have a phone call coming through. Hang on, I'm just going to get that. Okay, are we still connected, Lynn?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So Fit Armadillo, it started, basically in the initial stages, I'd worked in fitness facilities for many years, big box gyms, private gyms, women only gyms. And I still found I wasn't able to reach the people who I really wanted to reach, which would be, people that were like me when I started getting into fitness, not really that excited about it and needing a little bit more support. And you know, you can't always find it at the gym. So I wanted to be able to help, you know, women. You know, for myself personally speaking, I really didn't enjoy gym class growing up. That was my first experience with fitness of any kind. And so, you know, really trying to help those kind of women in particular. Maybe they didn't get into fitness through their gym class, through PE class, didn't really find anything in their adult life and wanted to get some of the benefits of a healthy lifestyle in a more friendly way. So that's how it started. And I was mostly doing things in person when I started the business, but then I've since brought the business online. And actually here in California now, all my clients are online because I just moved out here. So I might take some in-person clients myself, but right now everyone's online. We do sessions over live video chat. So it's what you would do at the gym, but instead of having your trainer next to you physically, they're actually next to you through your computer screen. And so what will happen is I might say, okay, you need to do a push-up today. Here's how to do one push-up. I'll demonstrate it and then say, okay, you need to do 10 and I'll watch your form, give you feedback. And so the sessions are all, you know, one-on-one set up, customized to individual clients' needs and then scheduled on their terms. And we even offer more last-minute bookings. So that was actually inspired by my sister who was a new mom. So I was, you know, I had the business, was doing this myself with the sessions over live video chat, and my sister had a new baby and she wanted help getting back into shape after the baby. And she lives in Australia, but all my family lives over here in the U.S. And she had this timeline. She wanted to get back in shape before she came out to visit everyone. And she said, okay, we're going to meet every day at 5 p.m. and do our sessions. And I don't have kids yet myself, but I have clients who do. And I said, you know, that's great that you want to meet at 5 p.m. every day with a newborn, but I'm pretty sure that you're not going to be able to commit to that 5 p.m. time slot. So sure enough, you know, once she had my niece, the 5 p.m., we couldn't meet at 5 p.m. on the dot. So she would text me and around, you know, the time that she was able to get my niece down for a nap, and then we would hop on video chat and do our session that way. And that worked really well for her. It helped her have, you know, more energy, be more present with her new daughter, you know, during those times when, you know, after she had done her workout, and just have more confidence and feel better. And I wanted to bring that to more women, but I couldn't really offer that, you know, myself being on call, so to speak, for more than just my sister. So brought on a team of other trainers, other certified fitness professionals. So we also have private yoga, for example, and now can offer that last minute booking for other busy people. It really doesn't have to be just women, but often busy moms will use us so they can book last minute. People that travel frequently for work can book with us, or just people that, you know, again, going back to how I started, people that might not be comfortable in the gym setting, being able to start, you know, where they are, so they don't have to be in perfect shape to go to the gym. I think that's often something that keeps people from the gym, is feeling like they're not in shape enough to go to the gym, which I would say not to worry about, but I definitely can relate to. So, you know, having that ability to work out in the comfort of your home, build some confidence, and then if you do want to join a gym down the line, you know, you can, or hopefully, you know, we love working with our clients, so continuing to work with us and have several different trainers as well. So, you know, you could always change who you work with, and we don't have any contracts, any application fees. It's just, you can pay as you go, do one session just to learn some new fitness tricks, or you could buy a package if you wanted and save a little bit there and keep going. And that's kind of the basics of Fit Armadillo. So online fitness and trying to include as many people as possible.
Include as many people as possible. Now, my next question will lead me into our next segment, so to speak. Do you need any specialized gym equipment starting out with you, or can you just use the natural settings around you?
No, anything natural settings, especially if you're someone that's just getting started out, you know, but not even really, especially, right? I mean, there's so many things you can do, a lot of more advanced fitness moves just with your own body weight. So people are surprised by that, but then actually I was talking to a friend over the weekend who is considering signing up, which is exciting. And he said, well, I don't know. I don't really have any equipment. And then he even started remembering, you know, push-ups, burpees. So even a push-up can be modified. Even if you can't do a push-up on the floor, you can modify it so you're just doing it off of the wall, which is, a pretty basic exercise. Or like he had even realized, a burpee is a pretty intense fitness move, right? So that's just, one example of how you don't really need much, just yourself. And we can start with you from there. And, and then when you do sign up for a session with us, we do ask, if you do have any equipment. So if you, each time you book a session, if you have something new, you could add that in and we can help you work with that. Or if you have some equipment that you just don't know how to use, we can help you with that. And then if you were thinking about buying some items before your session, you can definitely, let us know your budget and some basic things. Because, really, even with a $100 budget, you could get a decent amount of equipment where you would be able to do have a lot more variety than what you can do just with your own body weight. But yeah, don't need much to start. Just need to be yourself, be there, be ready, and we can help you out.
Yes, be yourself, be ready, and then you can help all of us out get back in shape. Now, the topic I'm curious about is the disabled and exercise. How can, from your perspective, I know how I do it, but I'm not the typical disabled person sitting on, and I hate to use this language, but sitting on the couch eating potato chips. I'm not the typical disabled person. So how can a person with a disability integrate exercise into their lives? I mean, you've worked with me long enough via distance that I go to the gym twice a week and I do what I can walking wise and do and keep on top of cerebral palsy. But I've been doing that since I was age 16, and people looked at my mom like she was nuts, integrating me into a normal gym, yes. And she goes, well, look, my daughter has cerebral palsy. I want her moving to the best of her abilities. This is what we're going to do. Finally, the gym owner in Grand Junction, Colorado, picked up what I was doing and then opened a gym up for and integrated the disabled in that gym and started working with the disabled. But those of us who can't afford a gym membership, and those of us who are bedbound, and those of us who can't really move but yet want to stay physically healthy, how would we do it?
Yes, I think, the first thing is just knowing what your limitations are, and then being able to communicate that with someone. Because I guess, it's tough talking about disabilities in general because every disability will have its own unique challenges, right? And things that you might want to work on more than others, right? But just, knowing what your limitations are, being able to communicate those well with a certified fitness professional, and you probably want to start with someone that is your physical therapist, right? And having at least their notations for your trainer can probably help a lot in terms of making sure, you're able to communicate that well with your personal trainer. But, yeah, I would just say knowing that, communicating that, and then there's always something we can do. So it might, maybe you might not know that if you're not in fitness, but there's always something we can do. And any type of movement, like what I found with the interviews I did with the women that were entrepreneurs, it can help someone with a disability maybe get out of that funk of sitting on the couch like you were talking about, where you're just having more focus, more energy, being able to think about things in a better way, having a little bit more mental clarity and having a better outlook on things. It can really help a lot. So even if you're not able to do all the things, disabilities have so many forms as well, right? Like sometimes a disability can happen to an able-bodied person that, is in a bad car accident. So just kind of being able to use fitness to help change your perspective can be really, really helpful. And I just encourage people to, kind of look at communicate with their trainer what they can't do, but then have faith that the trainer can help bridge that information into some things that you can do that will actually have a lot bigger impact than maybe just what you normally think fitness can have an impact on. And if you can't afford it, like we said, I mean, you don't need much to get a good workout in. So just, even if you did one session with a trainer, so like for our Fit Armadillo trainers, you don't have to have a gym membership. You could do one session with us and we can give you a basic workout routine. That could be one option, or, or trying a fitness class. Classes can often be a lot less expensive, but, sometimes there's the burden of getting to the gym or having to pay for a gym membership in order to take the class. So, that's why I love what we do, because we can help people just get a basic routine. I mean, a basic routine can take you for, through a few weeks and still have an impact. So something like that where you're hiring a trainer for your workout plan, right?
Can help you not only physically, but help you psychologically. I mean, I'm noticing now just a simple walk on the beach, on the beach, to use your setting there, Catherine, could be a great audio. A simple walk in a driveway to, don't park close to the building, park in the farthest handicapped spot you can and walk into the building. That can be a great cardio workout as well.
Yep. No, that's definitely true. We often underestimate the power of walking, right? It definitely can have a good positive impact, even a short walk.
All my disabled friends are completely think, when you're nuts, I want to walk. I want to walk in the closest handicapped spot I can. Nope. Use the power of walking to boost your heart rate. Use the power of the exoskeleton to boost your heart rate. I have access to exoskeleton, and I believe none of the rehabilitation programs in California, believe it or not, have exoskeletons. The only exoskeleton that I know of is the one that I have access to, and the one in Denver, Colorado. So at Craig.
Oh, wow.
So eventually, I believe that only there's a program based out of San Diego, and they don't even have one. It's called Project Walk, and they don't even have exoskeleton. For those of you who are curious as to now when talking about, I am talking about this Bionics suit that I get into. It's spread all over Facebook. Trust me, it's spread all over Facebook. I am the only woman with cerebral palsy in the country, we believe, walking with an exoskeleton suit. It's a bionic suit. It raises cardio. It's just all this wonderful stuff. And so when we talk about integrating exercise with your disability, use the power of walking, use the power of the buddy system to keep you accountable, use the power of Fit Armadillo to just jump online and ask Catherine or ask a team a couple questions about how do I do this, how do I do that, because I know it's scary for you guys to go to the gym, but I just want to keep the disabled population healthy along with the able-bodied population, because we're not getting any younger here. We're all getting older. And knees go out, the back goes out. We're not getting any younger. So Kathleen and I are trying to help you to the best of our abilities stay young, stay healthy, and keep your mind sharp. I mean, you wouldn't be amazed what exercise does to your mental capabilities, too.
No, for sure. Definitely. It's like one of the cheapest things you can do, right? To have a lot of benefits. People try to spend a lot of money, especially now that I'm out here in California. I think about it more, right? To look younger, but if you really want to feel younger and be able to think faster, like, younger person, really, you can't really beat fitness and even walking, like you said, Wynn. I like that you share that. That can really help. So don't be afraid to start with a walk, for sure.
No, I am almost 30 years old, and granted, I am in the best, well, I'm not going to say the best shape anymore, but granted, I feel better than I did in my 20s. And I'm granted, I was a lot more physically fit in my 20s because I did the Kona Ironman. But I feel approaching 30 the best I've ever felt in my life. I don't know why that would be, but I've really concentrated on my personal fitness, whether it be physical or psychological, and it seems to be working out.
I love that.
No pun intended on that one. But so, where can people find you, and where can people sign up for this amazing program, and where can people find the book, and how can people get a hold of you if they heard you, Kathleen, and how can people keep you out in beautiful California, lucky duck?
I know. You know what's so funny? When do you subscribe to those Notes from the Universe emails? Have you heard of them?
No, I don't.
Well, I definitely recommend if anyone's interested. It's kind of silly, right? But every work day you get in the morning an email. It's a note from the universe. So in the beginning you set it up and you give them your name and then things that you're looking for and things that you are working towards in your life. So one of the things I said was I wanted to live just a walk away from the beach, and I had one this morning that that it talks about that, and it's funny because now I can walk to the beach. So it's kind of a crazy thing, but I can walk to the beach now, but I have to now work really hard to continue to be able to afford to keep that dream, right? So I do appreciate.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I do appreciate the help. But yeah, they can.
How can we keep you walking to the beach? Get your point. No pun intended.
Yes, I do appreciate it. Yeah, no, you guys can all find me. The best way is to go to fitarmadillo.com because then you can, find, I do have it set up. People sometimes complain that it's, all they can do when they get to the homepage is book a session, but that's not true. You can scroll down to the bottom and there's the menu down there, and then you can find the blog and you can find the contact and all that. But fitarmadillo.com, fitarmadillo.com is the easiest way. You can get on my email list. I do a weekly newsletter with just some updates and tips. And usually we have at least one blog post a week where either myself or one of the trainers is sharing some fitness tips or a healthy recipe idea. So if you're on the email list, you get that every week. You don't have to think about it, but you can also stop by the blog and which is fitarmadillo.com/blog to get that. But yeah, I mean, then on social media, I'll be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter with the little @ fitarmadillo as one word for those. And yeah, for the book, you can go to fitarmadillo.com and then /books. Because maybe I'll write another book now, and who knows? That'll be the easiest way to find out where you can get the book, and it'll have links there for Amazon. And then, like I said, I probably will work with some store owners here in the Hermosa Beach in LA area to carry the books at a lesser cost than the bookstore, but I definitely have some locations in Houston where you could already do that and support some of my local friends there. And yeah, and Lynn, if you let me know what day we're going to go live, I'm happy to save one of my free Amazon download days. If people want to grab the ebook, we can put that up too.
We're going to go live on Thursday. So yes, on Thursday, people listen to this interview, go grab Fit Armadillo, the book, and you'll find my story along with, I think we did with 10 other women. Is that correct?
16 other, so 17 total.
7 total. Good.
Yeah.
Good. And you'll find my advice and my personal journey with exercise and how I keep my body so healthy. And no, cerebral palsy can't get worse. It's not a pre-existing condition. The only way it can get worse is if you let it get on top of you. That's why I brought Catherine on, to help you guys all not let your disabilities get on top of you. But before I let Catherine go, I'm going to let her ask me 2 to 3 questions that she wants to ask me about anything.
Oh, this is exciting. I feel like I just really need to get you out to California and ask you more than 2 to 3, but I'll start with my 2 to 3. Let me see. Number one, well, I mean, now that I'm an author, because the last time we talked, I wasn't an author. It was something I was considering doing because, like I said, I had all these stories that were just sitting on my computer, and it had been about a year when we spoke. So, about 6 months after we last spoke on the podcast, I decided to just go for getting those interviews out in the world as a book. But now that I'm an author, my first question for you would be any good tips for myself and the fellow authors listening to help us get our books out there in the world and inspiring, as many people as possible. I know, especially because, your book is meant to inspire people, and I really enjoy reading that. And I'm sure most people listening have similar passions about getting the word out there. So what are some good tips for authors to spread the word?
Get on podcasts. Pitch yourself.
Okay. Yep.
I want to talk about fitness. Say I want to talk about disabilities and fitness. Get on podcasts. That would be the number one thing. Because I built my podcast based off my book, my fan base was ready for this podcast. But if you don't have a following, which Catherine, you do because it's fit on my pillow. And yes, I'm trying to convince Catherine to start a podcast about fitness with me. And so she hasn't said yes completely, but eventually she's going to have to say yes, because I think fitness with disabilities is such a huge thing, and fitness in general is such a huge thing. But my tip for any author, disabled or not, is to get on podcasts and share their stories. That's what I started doing straight from the get-go, and it seems to really help me.
Well, I mean, I like that tip. I don't have to do anything too crazy. I don't have to go on TV just yet, right?
Nope. Just you can do podcasts in your PJs. You don't
right,
exactly.
Exactly.
Get on the local San Diego channel to promote your book. You can just sit into your exercise clothes and do a podcast, and then a podcast that you might want to recommend, look up Catherine, is Ben Greenfield. I actually had Ben Greenfield on my podcast at one point.
Okay.
And so he does a complete fitness podcast, the Ben Greenfield podcast, I believe. And if you type in on iTunes the Ben Greenfield, he's the number one that will pop up. And so that's my advice right there for anyone, is just get on podcasts and start sharing your stories, promote the book.
I love it. So I have another. It's kind of a similar question, probably now that I know your tip is to get on podcasts. But I saw that on the 18th of this month you're going to be interviewing John Lee Dumas. So I used to listen to his podcast a lot. A huge fan. How did you get him on the show? How can you get me on his show?
How did I get him on the show? Okay.
Yeah.
It was all via social media. Hint, hint. If you tweet John Lee Dumas and say, "Can I interview you?" It will. He will. He might like your stuff if he looks at. Obviously, this guy gets 1,000 pictures a day, and if you guys haven't heard of EOFire, the entrepreneur's story, it's an amazing podcast, and the way he did it is built his podcast from scratch, has thousands and thousands of fans, has thousands and thousands of downloads too. And so basically he explains he was Army brat out in San Diego. He gave that up to start EOFire and got all his savings together and started EOFire, and I believe at one point he was living out of his vehicle. I'll ask him that. He's explained the story of EOFire so many times that I won't necessarily get into that story, but with him, but how I got him on my podcast is all through a tweet. I use Twitter, and all I simply said is, can I interview you? That's how I got JJ Virgin too. Her interview is live. You guys can go listen to that. We talk about mindset and fitness put together, and that's how I interviewed you. And her assistant said, can you send us more information? The next thing I know, the assistant goes, let's set up a date. So I must be doing something like if I get the big names like Ben Greenfield, like John Lee Dumas on my podcast, I must be doing something. Right. So my next trick is to get on John's podcast where he interviews me. I'll see if that can happen, but that would be
definitely.
My next tip is just use social media. Instagram, just comment, and just use Twitter, Instagram, and comment on people's posts. You never know what happens.
That's true. We do live in a really exciting time for that, right? You never know what you can get. Actually, so one of the people who gave me an advanced review for the book is one of my personal heroes. I probably talked to you about him on our last interview, Sean Aker, and his TED Talk is one of my most favorite TED Talks, and I love his book, and I just, similar thing, all I did was ask if he would, write me a review, and I was able to get that, so it is a pretty cool time that we live in, the power of asking,
that is the power of asking for help, and that's how I'm going to close out this interview. I want you guys to go ask Catherine. This interview is coming out on Thursday, so go ask Catherine for your help with your fitness needs, and I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode. Speaking of fitness, this podcast is sponsored by Grace by Grit. Grace by Grit is a clothing line out of San Diego. It was
I know them.
Two triathletes, and they're nicely enough giving you guys a 20% off code, so you guys can go check that out. It will be in the show notes, and Catherine's information will be in the show notes, and I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode. Thank you, Catherine, and thank you for all my fan support out there, and we'll make this podcast work eventually, and then we'll see what happens. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Lynn. Don't forget to get the free book, guys, today.